Have you noticed the struggle in our new friend?
Eric, you mean?
Yes. Every part of him yearns to be serious, mature, maybe a little dangerous. But show him something new, like a properly maintained scry, and it all falls away.
Revealing...
An excited, intelligent young man who craves novelty.
Think that's why he hangs around the camp so often?
No, I know that's why. He knows he can't go back to it, but misses what you do. I wrestle with it too. I like being a watcher, but if someone handed me a potion to move back in time or be young again, well, let's say I'd give it some... Either way, he's got a deft hand with the scry. I'll give...
Lane, I was wondering if you could help me with something.
What is it?
Well, it turns out Oria's search for her father wasn't just about finding her family.
Crusades into one's lineage rarely are. Let me guess. She didn't find the missing piece of herself that she hoped she would, and now she's having an existential crisis.
Yeah, that kind of sums it up.
It happens. So, what has all this really been about?
She knows she needs to retire, and she's struggling with what her legacy has been.
Isn't it strange how the most accomplished people never seem to recognize their own success?
Yeah, I was hoping you could help with that. After all, isn't chronicling a legacy your specialty?
We could certainly commemorate her career with a written account. A lovely idea. I would suggest we personalize it with anecdotes from each of our traveling companions, as they've been in Oria's band longer than you or I. Would you interview them for me? Legacies may be my specialty, but you might have the leg up when it comes to connecting with others.
Sure, I can do that. Any tips on what to ask them?
Ask whatever you like. Maybe you want a few humorous stories in the mix? Or some readers prefer heartfelt. Why don't I start by interviewing you?
Me?
Of course. We'll need your input. What has Oria meant to you?
Before Oria, I didn't really have much of a mentor when it came to weaving. Sure, I picked up things from my old band, but she takes passing on knowledge so seriously. And her love of our culture...
Great. I'll transcribe that and start her biography. Take notes when you speak to the others and come back to me.
Ah, good. We're all here.
Yes, we're here to talk about the stove.
Anyway, stove's not working. Campfire sucks by comparison. How are we fixing this?
Yes, please, let's talk about the stove.
How did we run out of coal anyway? I spent 2 days in Varentia working on that last batch.
Sure, but then we ended up in the Enclave. So now we need to find more. Also in the Enclave.
I don't easily have the materials to process another batch. But the temple might have some. I hate to admit it, but that was the one really useful thing I took out of my time with the Church of the Hallowed Pyre. They know their fuel.
Great! Temple. But what good's coal without a proper place to burn it for cooking?
If we're able to find coal like before, then it'll just be a case of reforming, and I will need a few materials. I'll draft up a list for Bryn.
Good. Excellent. We're moments away from hot food.
Good, so I'll...
Go team!
Bryn, I examined the wreckage at the Grand Gate after everything that transpired there.
Found something useful?
A kinetic strand, in fact. The Ark must have torn it from the Herald's pattern in the chaos of the battle. I don't see why not. Its pattern appears to be quite similar to those found on wild creatures and Archons.
All right. We need every advantage.
Then let's get to work. And we're finished. This will be quite the powerful addition to your mantle.
How so?
This strand can twist kinetic magic into a tunnel. In battle, you could push debris or enemies through it and send them flying through the air quite forcefully.
Could I jump through it?
I suppose you could?
Hey, there's a lot of tall buildings, flying creatures. This is going to be great.
You're right. Just try to be careful. You know, a lot of points struggle with transitioning into a watcher's role full-time. And there's never been a point more passionate than Aurea.
I know. I hope this eases her pain.
I'm sure it will. Now, what can I do to help?
What do you think makes Aurea such a strong leader?
She listens to her weaver's input when needed, yet remains decisive when a consensus can't be reached. The band I traveled with before fell apart due to disagreements over what our goals should have been. It was a difficult and tumultuous time in my career. I never wanted to live through that again.
I can relate. Traveling with Aurea is a completely different experience to my last band, too.
She has a clear vision for her band, and she chooses people that share her goals. Even when conflict arises, it doesn't last long, and Aurea can diffuse it quickly. That's because we can all trust that one another's intentions are good. Leading a weaver band is half the battle. Now, picking the weavers? That's the tough part.
Thanks for sharing, Dom. I appreciated your candor in the meeting, Sev.
It was terrifying. Wasn't sure I'd be allowed to stay. You didn't get to voice an opinion with the others. Are we?
I'm not upset with you. If anything, cautiously certain that what you did was for the right reasons. You'll need to keep proving yourself, of course. But in the end, you came through.
I knew something was wrong the moment that thing started talking to me when Stanild wasn't around. It was very focused on you.
Me?
It reeked of trap. I didn't survive a decade around Tarzan Norians without picking up when someone's holding a knife behind.
But you still took me down there.
Sorry. An educated risk. I felt there was nothing it could do and wanted the whole band.
And Stanild wouldn't use one, of course.
The Talon was his deepest secret. Whom would he tell?
Can you tell me more about Stanild's plans for once he went through the Grand Gate?
He was counting on Isla. She was exceptional at protective fields. But even then, the Talon had convinced him he'd be able to survive, and fool that he was, he trusted it. But I have a theory. You know how the weather sometimes skews wildly hot and cold? What else do we see on similar cycles? Exactly. So,
You think the aeroliths are able to affect raw magic somehow?
I do. And in Stanild's private records and designs. I found notes
You think the Norians were involved in their creation?
It would certainly explain why Tarza had such access to aeroliths before the Surge. If I'm right, this might be the key.
Fewer tangles means less dead me.
You'll need to head to the Watersmith area of the Institute, and I'll guide you from there. I haven't known Aurea for as long as the others, but she's done a lot for me. I'd like to help with your project if I can.
Of course, Sev.
What do you want to know?
What drew you to Aurea's Weaver Band?
Truthfully, it was Sola. I wanted to learn as a smith's apprentice, and her craftsmanship is... But, I suppose, something she said about her leader always stuck with me. She said that Aurea valued competence and accountability above all else. It didn't matter what your station was, or in the Norian order, station was all that mattered. Along with towing the line. I don't know. I thought it would be freeing to just focus on the work for once.
I suppose getting trapped with us wasn't the freeing experience.
In some ways, no. But it's nice to be valued for my work, instead of my ability to cover for a superior's poor bit.
Thanks, Sev.
Glad to be of service.
Bryn, I love what you're doing for Aurea. How can I help?
You've been in the Weaver Band the longest. How do you think Aurea has changed throughout her career?
To be a point for as long as Aurea has is extremely rare. The knowledge she's acquired at a time when Weavers... She's always been passionate about recovering what was lost since the Surge. Though, I think feeling alone in that ambition has taken a toll on her over the...
In what way?
Not all Weavers are in this for our collective culture the way Aurea is. Many of them only seek personal glory. When Casman didn't work out as her replacement point, she became worried she might never find someone that shared her vision for this band.
Wow. Thank you, Sola.
Happy to help. Bryn, would you...
Check on Sev? Always. But how are you?
I'm all right. Just worried about him, you know? He did the right thing in the end, and he seems to have come back to us for now, but...
He needs us now more than ever.
Exactly. That tree still bright with inspiration?
Your idea to commemorate Aurea's career with Lane is lovely. How can I help?
If you were to summarize Aurea's influence on your life, what would that be?
Aurea saved me from serious burnout with the Udean relief efforts. Not that being a weaver isn't without its challenges, but the longer I worked the relief ships, the worse the fatigue hit me. And I think that had become my entire identity. Barely a few minutes into meeting me, Aurea asked if I ever thought of becoming a weaver. I thought she was mad. But I guess she had observed me giving orders and organizing shipments on the dock at the end of our conversation. I had a new purpose and a home in our band.
That's perfect.
My pleasure.
My hand is cramped. But the account of...
Great. I'll gather everyone if you're ready to present it.
I'll need to ice my quill hand. Of course.
Let's hope she likes this.
She will.
What's going on?
We all contributed, though credit goes to Lane for compiling and writing it.
I've titled it A True and Personal Account of Aurea Silverbeak Harpinet.
What is going on?
We wanted to do something special to commemorate your time as point.
You didn't have to do all this.
We did. You've done more for each of us time and time again.
No one is more deserving of a place in Weaver history than you, Oria.
So we took it upon ourselves to write you one.
As a thank you.
Lane, why don't you read just the opening?
Oria Silverbeak, as she came to be known, was born to Sharian Harpenay and Eugenius Osphine inside the Enclave just...
Osphine.
Though she never knew her father, her mother hoped Oria would follow in her footsteps. But Oria decided to become a point, blazing her own, something she would continue to do throughout her career. Bigger... We'll let you read the rest on your own.
We hope this account will help you see yourself and your accomplishments the way we see you.
I'm at a loss. All I can say right now is...
Bryn, I was so moved by what you did for Oria. It's clear she means a lot to all of you.
Thank you. She does.
But her father, Eugenius Osphine, I know who he is.
You do?
Yes, and I want you to make an offering for his grave. I can give you a key swatch to reach it.
Wait, you know where it is?
I do. And I'm sure Oria would love to watch you visit on the scry.
Okay, but shouldn't we tell her?
Trust me, this is something you should show her directly. Come back when you've got the offering and I'll give you the key swatch.
One of Oria's feathers would be beautiful. An offering for Eugenius. Time to talk to Eric. I've made an offering for Eugenius's grave.
Great. Here's the key swatch to his farm. That's where he was buried. I'll join Oria at the scry when you arrive.
Are you sure you don't want to be the one to place the offering? This was your idea, after all.
It will be more meaningful for her if it's you. Trust me.
All right. Thank...
Lovely discoveries.
What is this place?
Osveen pastures. Your father's farm. I thought you'd want to see it for yourself.
My father lived here.
More than lived. He gave his blood, sweat, and tears for the Enclave here. Eugenius Osveen may not have a statue in Denevron for excellence in weaving or kissing the eye's arse, but he kept the surviving weavers afloat during the aftermath of the Surge.
I had no idea.